So Valve has decided to make the Steam machine for the second time, and this time it probably will work. So yeah, let's dive right into the video and discuss the GameCube. So back in 2015, Valve has released the first iteration of the Steam machine. It was a pre-built gaming computer that you could plug into your TV and use like a home console. It also had its own unique controller, and instead of running Windows, it used SteamOS, which is heavily based on Linux, and it was definitely one of the gaming platforms of all time. I can definitely say that about it. It wasn't very successful as it only sold less than 500,000 units. I'm actually curious if anybody actually bought this thing. Like, do you know anybody that owned this? Because I certainly don't. Now, 10 years later, Valve decided to announce the second iteration of the Steam machine, which is just called the Steam machine. Like, they didn't even give it a new name. Or if you're a man of culture, you're gonna call this the GameCube. So why did Valve decide to make another version of the Steam machine after the first iteration didn't even sell all that well? Well, let's just discuss why the original Steam machine failed first. So the original Steam machine failed because of the fact that, first of all, Windows was the main operating system, and to this day still the main operating system that is used to play video games on PC, and also because it's the main operating system for everything else. While when it comes to SteamOS, it's not really used by many people for the everyday use stuff, and also because the audience for this thing wasn't honestly that clear, because people who play on PC will just get a gaming PC and build it themselves, while the people on console who wanted a budget option will just buy a console. Also, it wasn't marketed very well, so I think a lot of people just didn't even know it existed. Now, after the Steam machine flop, Valve stopped making hardware. That was, of course, until 2021 when they released the Steam Deck, which would go on to become the best-selling handheld gaming computer, as it sold 3 million units. And after its release, we of course sold an influx of other devices like the ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, and of course most recently the ROG Xbox Ally, which, speaking of Xbox, that's another thing we're gonna have to talk about later. Now, after Valve made the Steam Deck and decided to return to the hardware game, of course the next step is a home console, I guess you could say, although it's not really a home console, it's a pre-built PC, and they decided to do that by reviving the Steam machine. Now, definitely the main reason why they're trying to do this again is because SteamOS has come a long way ever since the Steam machine released in 2015, to the point now where games are running better on SteamOS than Windows. Games that are designed to run on Windows are running better on SteamOS. That's just absolutely pathetic. And another reason for that is because they can have a place in the industry, because Xbox is not really doing all that well, so having someone to replace them is definitely going to be an interesting attempt, especially because of the fact that the next Xbox allegedly is also going to be a pre-built PC. But now let's talk about the device itself a bit. Now, the design I think is very bland, honestly. Like, I get the memes of GameCube, haha, very funny, but the design is really, there's nothing going on in it. It's just very soulless. But I guess it's a very sleek, and it's very small as well, which is very impressive for something that's gonna be this powerful. Now, the specs are pretty decent for something like this. It's decently powerful, and it can probably play most of the current PC games at the moment. I guess you could say
He's a big old beefy boy.
now there are two main topics I want to focus on when it comes to this thing, which is the price obviously, and how it could compete with the next gen Xbox. Now the Steam Machine originally costed $500 I believe, which wasn't that terrible. I mean, the Xbox One also was at that price point at the time. However, because this was a pre-built PC and not a console, people didn't have interest in it, as I said earlier. Now, how much this thing will cost is up in the air at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more expensive than the PS5 Pro. However, if it is somehow less expensive than the PS5 Pro, I think it's probably gonna do decent numbers. It's not gonna be anything amazing, let's be honest. This thing is probably not even gonna sell 10 million units, but if it sells at least a million, it's gonna be definitely more successful than the original Steam Machine. Now, how is it going to compete with the next gen Xbox? The next gen Xbox is obviously gonna be a pre-built PC that's pretty much confirmed at this point. Well, this thing is gonna be coming in early 2026, and the next Xbox is probably not gonna be coming until 2027 at the earliest at this point. Xbox is gonna have a tough time competing against this, especially because with how much they've been raising the prices of consoles and even Game Pass, the possibility of the next Xbox costing like $1,000 is gonna make its competition against the Steam Machine even tougher. Now, from what I've heard, the Xbox experience on the ROG Ally XX is actually pretty decent. Now, if the SteamOS experience on the Steam Machine is even better than the next gen Xbox, then yeah, I think the next gen Xbox is definitely cooked. But we're gonna have to wait and see until that happens. All of this speculation, obviously, when it comes to the next gen Xbox. However, I think it's definitely gonna have a very tough time competing against the Steam Machine, depending on the price and how Windows translates into a home console-esque PC. But yeah, this is basically it. I just wanted to make a quick video talking about the Steam Machine and my thoughts about it, because it's definitely a very interesting piece of hardware. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and if you are going to pick one of these up, if they're pretty reasonably priced, of course. And if you like this video, press the like button, also press the subscribe button for more content. Thanks for watching, I'll see you all in my next video.